Hello my snacks, welcome back, my name's Jack. Today's beginning story is, yes, it's an interesting title, but I assure you it's got a very wholesome ending to it all. Look, there's definitely some holes being filled here, but that's not the holes I'm talking about. It all began 16 days ago with someone coming to off my chest to vent about their current relationship frustration. I'm a 30-year-old male. I've been dating my girlfriend, who's 30 as well, for 2 years now. We met online, and I thought we were very connected. We shared a lot of emotionally, and I had a very, very deep conversations. Now, I don't want to get into the details of it too much, but long story short, God, so many puns. I got curious about one of her dildos because it's different from the others. She only has a few toys, and has expressly stated that she prefers the phallic stimulation over penetration while finishing herself off. So she has mostly ones that suck and don't go inside her. Except one. It's like a 5-incher. I noticed when I come over, it's in her bed or on her sink from having been washed after use. It seems like she uses it a lot. I brought up that she uses the thingy-majiggy more than her sucky things. And she got really awkward. I pressed a little more, and she admitted that it's a cloner willy of her ex. They dated for 5 years and remained very close friends until she and I had been dating for a year. She cut off contact with him because she felt weird about having connections to him once we got more serious. I didn't ask her to do this, for the record. She also offered to let me look through her phone, and I found no recent messages from him, and it seems like they hadn't been intimately texting or anything for the year we'd been dating. But still, she uses his manhood to get off on. Like, she said she just likes how it feels and she's used to using it, so she can make herself finish hard and fast. I just don't really know how I feel about it all. I'm mostly confused because mine is bigger, and it seems like she likes it. I don't get it. Gentlemen, has this feeling of inadequacy ever crossed your mind? You probably have thought to believe that, oh, I need mine to be bigger, then my partner or potential hookup will absolutely enjoy me in bed. But yet here we are, someone in an established relationship that is clearly healthy emotionally and intimately, yet here she is using a smaller device, and seemingly enjoying that very well. The reason you would find that confusing is because we have this misconception that the bigger they are, the better and pleasurable they'll be, because the pornography we watch out there, or that is purely available to us, is as realistic to real life as the MCU. And yes, in case you are suspicious that maybe she's actually not fully into him in the bedroom, no, they are very good together. But then again, this is from the OP's perspective, so oh, what do we know? But thankfully, 9 days ago, the OP brings us an update, and oh my gosh, what's this? Communicating to your partner achieves optimal results? The insanity! How dare this man embarrass us fellow men by actually talking to their partner about these things and realizing that, yes, he's just being silly. So last week, I made a post about my girlfriend and her thingamabobby. It got an insane amount of attention, and I've got some DMs asking for an update, so here it is. First, I want to clarify. I know that size doesn't matter. I was upset when I first posted, and my pettiness got the better of me. So, my girlfriend and I had the first conversation about the thingamabob before I had to be somewhere. I brought it up casually, and definitely didn't expect things to take the turn that they did. I left, made the post on Reddit to vent, and then mostly ignored my phone. Well, once I checked it, I had texts from my girlfriend saying she was so sorry and that she'd hoped I'd return to her apartment to talk, which I did once my obligation was over. She explained that the thingamalogadabidubidi was an expensive custom order from a seller that is no longer in business. I called it a cloner willy, but it wasn't. She and her ex submitted measurements and pictures to a website or something. She said she didn't throw it away when they broke up because it was very expensive. But she also liked the material and firmness of the Hadonki Donkey. It would have been hard for her to replace. Come on. Oh, man! I asked her why she kept it once we started dating. And she said that she no longer even thought of it, of being her ex's, but rather just a very high quality one, and that she couldn't justify spending the money to replace it when she's penny pinching to save her a house. But when I asked her about it, she kind of blurted it out because she'd been feeling a lot of guilt about it recently. I asked her why she's been using it recently when she's expressly stated that she likes clit toys better, and she said that when she finishes herself off, she often does prefer to use clit-sucking toys, but because we've been having so much intimacy lately, it's put her in the mood to add penetration to the mix. A lot of the comments on my original post led me to believe that this is common for women. I asked her if she felt any emotional connection to the thingamabobby, but she was adamant that's not the case. A lot of people commented that she is or was cheating on me. That's really not possible. Her ex moved away during the last year of their relationship, and they tried to do long distance. My girlfriend explained that even though they were technically dating for that year, their romance fizzled, and they were more just friends than a couple for a long time before they decided to end things. And I believe her. Not only because she and I have a lot of trust built up, but because she's a horrible liar. Her face gets bright red any time she tried to even fib. I expressed to her that owning the diddly-di-do made me uncomfortable, and she completely understood. She apologized for having kept this from me, and we had a long, deep talk overall. Come on, man, you're feeding them to me. In the end, we decided to share the cost of a new one so that she could get rid of the old one. I love her, she loves me, and breaking up over a dahailo would be silly. All in all, I learned a lot about female finishing off preferences, and that doing that terminology is apparently a weird phrase to use for women. Thanks for the perspectives, everyone.
Look at that! Another problem solved by good communication, including a willingness to listen.
Do you mean willingness?
Shut up!
And honestly, I kind of understand where she's coming from. Look, when you get something like that, it's not exactly got resale value. But I also really would respect my own partner's wishes that, hey, look, if I had something that was exclusively relevant to my ex, I completely understand my partner wanting me to get rid of that thing. That's not just being insecure in the relationship. That's just basic respect, really. We'll now move on to a story that was deleted 10 hours ago on the Am I the A-hole subreddit with an interesting title. Am I the a-hole for exposing my friend's girlfriend for being a boudoir model at lunch? Is that how you pronounce it? Hang on.
Boudoir.
Boudoir. There it is. Yes, am I the a-hole for exposing my friend's girlfriend for being a boudoir model at lunch? I, 25 female, have been part of my friend group since high school. The one I'm having a problem with is Mark. Mark is a medical student who has a lot going for him. A year ago, he started dating Fallon, fake name, 23-year-old female, who seemed like a great person. She is studying psychology at our university. 2 weeks ago, a friend approached me with a photo of Fallon in a tiny outfit posing on the floor of an empty room. I was disgusted and wondered if Mark even knew about the disgusting things Fallon was doing. I kept it a secret and planned on bringing it up during a hangout with both of them. Can you see where this is going yet? Yeah? Okay. Just if you want to just play this song in the background for this story, yeah, it'll really fit the theme. Well, this past Saturday, I brought the photo with me in my tote bag to hang out with them. I threw the photo of Fallon on the coffee table, and both of them were sitting around, asking when she was planning to tell Mark she was showing herself off to the world shamelessly. She just sat there, her mouth open, before she ripped it off the table quickly. Mark stood up and kissed me. Mark stood up and started screaming at me that I was a weirdo for having that photo of Fallon in the first place, and that he knew what she did for work. He asked what I thought I was accomplishing. I told him I was just looking out for him because a job like hers shouldn't be hidden from their partner. He rolled his eyes and told me if I was worried, I would have brought it up another way and that this was just a gotcha moment for me. Which is true. Which isn't true. I started feeling bad and began to apologize, but Mark told me to leave or he would call the cops. Everyone in our friend group has been icy towards me, except for a select few that said I was doing the right thing by looking out for my friend. I feel like I need another person's opinion to know if I was really that wrong. Am I the a-hole? Healthy sense of sensibility? you're the a-hole. You're not the a-hole for looking out for him, that's fine. But how you handled it makes you the a-hole. You could have accomplished all this over a text to Mark. All you had to do was say, hey, I saw this image of your girlfriend and I'm worried that you might not appreciate her line of work. Then he could have a conversation with her or tell you how he knew about it. Instead, throwing the picture randomly on the table and putting her on the spot is just such an a-hole move. The fact you said she was showing herself off to the world shamelessly clearly shows that you had malicious intent. If you actually cared about him, you would have done so respecting him and Fallon. Along with a further tirade of Yatar's clearly accusing her of just being into Mark. Which she clearly isn't, guys. Come on. What girl would try to sabotage their male friend's relationship like that without being just a complete friend, you know? Impossible. Now, this next hilarious situation, oh, thank God to the OP, this woman's a real go-getter. It's been updated from 2 days ago. Unfortunately, their account was suspended before I could get the chance to find the OG, but we managed to find it. Thank goody goodness. Oh God, which tab is it? Huzzah! Here is the start of the story. It begins a week ago. Sorry for the awkward looking font, we have to go onto Undits to actually find the story, because it's all deleted. So we, 35 female, 36 male, have been married for a little under 2 months, together for 4 years. I loved him very much, and I thought he loved me too. Beside the usual quarrel and disagreements about dull and mundane tasks, we're good. He never complained about anything. Never. Our intimate life was amazing, and he told me so very often. He even texted me when we're at work all kind of naughty stuff that made me blush in my office. Friday, I had only one morning meeting. Me and my colleagues went for a lunch afterwards, and then we decided to go home afterwards. We checked with our supervisor, and she said it was fine. I found my husband with another woman in our bed. I started running away in shock, and he couldn't really leave the apartment before putting his clothes on. Enough time for me to take the elevator alone. He's been calling and texting me all weekend. I'm at my brother's. My brother and my sister-in-law don't know the details, just that my husband was cheating. This morning, my husband came knocking. He begged audience and asked my brother to let him speak to me. My brother asked me if I wanted him to kick my husband out, but I told him that now I wasn't in total shock anymore. Maybe I should just hear him out. My brother, sister-in-law, and my baby nephew left for a brunch. My husband looked like he has been crying the whole weekend and wanted to hug me. I told him to stay on his side of the kitchen island and not to come nearer, or I would scream. And are you ready for the reason? Ladies and gentlemen, the best reason to cheat on your committed partner. He started first with a half apology and later explained why he was cheating on me. I never made effort for him. I'm always wearing comfortable underwear and never the sexy type. That's a turn-off for him. He felt like I didn't really care. I was stunned and didn't understand what he meant. Why didn't you tell me this? Why not try to buy sexy lingerie like many men do for their wives? He said he didn't want to offend me by suggesting that my underwear were dull at a turn-off. So it was basically my fault that you cheated? He didn't say no. Just looked at me, crying his eyes out. God damn it, man! I tried to remember what the girl was wearing. I couldn't remember because my eyes went blurry the second I saw them. He asked me what I wanted to do. That we could fix this. He asked me if I wanted to know more about the woman in my bed. She meant nothing. I interrupted him immediately and told him that I was good. Then, to get him out, I told him I needed time to think, even though I already made up my mind. I just didn't want him to stay longer to try to talk and argue and cry more. He has left now. I don't know what to feel. I never knew underwear were the big deal of a relationship. I love cotton, neutral colors, mostly Calvin Klein basic. I have a very large chest, and honestly, any smexy bra is just a pain in the butt having on a whole day, always trying to adjust my boobobos in the cups. Big-breasted girls will recognize my issue, dealing with all the unsolicited glaring from guys and even girls when wearing underwear that shows the shape. Plus, I don't feel unsexy in my very comfortable undies at all. Not once. I love my body. I work out 1.5 to 2 hours a day, and I'm very confident in my own skin. And how could he say that he wasn't satisfied with our intimate life when we're intimate at least 4 times a week? Was it all a lie when he said that I drove him crazy and how I could turn him on with one look at him? I will never understand men. He gave me a false sense of confidence. And why did I catch them now? Couldn't I just do it 2 months ago? Now I need to find lawyers and start a freaking process that will take 2 years of my life, at least. Frick you, Kay. Really freaking frick you. I hope you get fricked by Karma wearing sexy red lace G-string. So okay, that's the story for so far. Now we come to the update. And this is where things get petty. You can argue how you want if you think she's gone too far with some of this, but it's tasty tea. So hi everyone. Since I got so much support last time I was here, I'm back for more attention. At least she's honest about it. I didn't find my story anywhere, but thank goodness I still had the draft on my phone. I have it on my page. I have spoken to a lawyer, and unfortunately, annulment isn't an option for us, even though we have been married for this short period of time. So I filed for divorce instead. My husband was so angry about it. So angry. He thought I was moving on too fast with everything, and without even properly hearing him out. Like, what more does he have to say? He texted me that this couldn't just be it, that he won't kiss me again. The last time he held and kissed me, he didn't know it was going to be the last time, or he wouldn't have let go. But then he wouldn't be able to frick Miss Sexy Panties, would he? Because he was in my bed with her a couple of hours after our last kiss. Oh! God damn. This is what I'm saying. I'm glad. I'm glad she's got the feistiness here. She deserves it. He's not the only one thinking that I'm moving too fast, though. My family is reserved about it, but I have sensed that they also agreed with my husband about giving it more time. My brother even told me that I was welcomed in his home as long as I wanted, so I didn't need to make any rash decisions. This kinda hurt me. What's that, sister? You've caught your partner sleeping with another woman, and his reasons for doing it was because you didn't wear a G-string? Well, are you sure you want to leave such a wonderful potential man? My mother-in-law called me a few times, and she apologized and asked how I was doing. Yes, but she had ulterior motives too. She is worried about the financial part of the divorce. She asked me whether I thought being married for under 2 months would make me entitled to my husband's property. Ooh, can you read that passive aggression? I still haven't met my lawyer yet, so I don't know anything about division of property. My husband bought us the apartment we live in. Also, he owns some other properties that we rent out and a small lake cottage. I kinda understand where she's coming from since I myself don't feel that I'm entitled to half. Now, what do you think about that? Honestly, I agree. As much of a scum this man is, I don't believe she should be fully entitled to everything he has after just 2 months of marriage. If they had bought property together, etc., if they had been building this wealth up together for at least a year or two, that would be different, but yeah, no, I agree. I think this isn't a case of her deserving half. But I kinda don't blame her for chasing after it, Now to what my husband did yesterday. As I said, my husband is very angry with me, and yesterday, I knew the full extent of it. I received a delivery to my brother's house. Now just quickly remember why he cheated on her. Now what kind of gift do you think a man should give a woman he's betrayed? Maybe flowers, maybe chocolates, maybe anything irrelevant to the thing he betrayed her with. A beautiful gift-wrapped box. Inside, beautiful lace underwear. My size. Thank goodness my brother and sister-in-law were out on their usual walk and Sunday brunch because I broke down crying. And I cried for 2 hours straight. After I calmed down, I knew that my husband, after coming to his senses, would regret his very petty actions and would start reaching out to me. When my brother came home, I told him that I was going to visit my best friend and that he couldn't tell my husband where I was. My brother knew something was wrong because my eyes were still swollen, but he respected my wishes that I didn't want to talk about the details. So embarrassing. I just told him my husband did something hurtful and that he would try to apologize once he calmed down. Yeah, I get the gift was done clearly with some sort of malice and stuff, but if you're genuinely then also being like, I want to get back together, what makes you think this would do anything to resolve that? And I was right, because my husband went to my brother's house asking about me because I wasn't picking up or answering him. He called and sent me at least 50 messages. I didn't read any because I had muted my phone. I also called in sick. Today, my husband apparently showed up to my workplace hoping he would see me there. I'm just so devastated and angry. I start crying the moment I'm alone. Like, why did he think he needed to hurt me even more? Wasn't cheating on me in my own bed in the place I felt safest, my home, enough humiliation for my husband? Like, why does he hate me so much? Just because I followed my broken heart and filed for divorce? I thought he knew me. I thought he knew I always followed my heart, or I wouldn't have married him in the first place. I was so close to putting the underwear on and blast Instagram with pictures of me in them. Or better yet, in my Calvin Klein grey cotton ones. I'm happy I came to my senses and put my phone aside. Like, is the pain I'm feeling ever going to go away? So at this point, you wouldn't blame her for any of the petty things she does. Now, I haven't read the petty stuff yet. I've just been reading some of the comments, and it doesn't sound like she's, chasing after him with an axe. But she definitely does some things that you just have to go, yes, queen, Like, you totally understand. If we had bodacious booties like women did, we'd do the same thing when our exes cheated on us. Okay, I did something petty. I made an Instagram story with my Calvin Klein, face not shown, with Beyonce Cozy as background music. I know I'm going to regret it because of the pettiness, but right now I feel a rush. Also, about the underwear I received yesterday, I'm not gonna burn or return them or cut them. I'm going to use them the next time I'm having intimacy. That's probably what my husband intended for me to do with them. I'm going to oblige.
Yeah, girl. Please do. Screw up this man's psyche.
Honestly, okay, this might be going into, again, very petty, very destructive territory, but you should call him in the middle of the act. Just call him to let him know that the gift you got from him, you're putting it to great use, and Steve here is very much appreciating it. Also, I'm not American. In my country, it doesn't matter if he had the property before or after we got married. Everything we own together or separately is joint property and will be divided 50-50. My husband doesn't seem bothered by this, yet. I think he's busy trying to figure out how to stop the divorce altogether right now. His family, on the other hand, are more outspoken about the division of the assets. They're also trying for an annulment. And over to the latest little petty update. I have now spoken to my husband. We talked about the practical things, and I told him that from now on, he could talk to my lawyer. He asked if he could see and talk to me in person. I said no. He then told me that he knew my Instagram story was for him. He said he was sorry for what he made me feel. He always thought I was beautiful, and it never had anything to do with my underwear. I said I know. He apologized for sending me the lingerie. He said he was angry with me when he did it. I said I know. He asked me to burn or throw away them because I'm beautiful even wearing a potato sack. I told him that I was going to use them the next time I have intimacy. And I will remember him and thank him for the confidence boost. He went silent for a few moments and then said, I deserve this, I guess. I have cried since this morning. I feel like a child fighting a petty fight, but I'm done now. Nothing more to say. Ultimately, it is a very tragic story, and I can feel for OP here, feeling absolute betrayal. It's just a scumbag. After such a commitment to a person, only for them to ruin it in such a pathetic way. Obviously, this woman's a very attractive woman, so I don't doubt it'll be too difficult for her to find some rebound guy to just, distract herself with, but of course, hookups don't really replace a established happy relationship, so until then, I hope OP is as healthy as they can be with all this. And honestly, manages to get 50-50. I don't care now. After this whole update, I hope she gets 50-50, regardless of any sort of moral respect on what he's owned in the first place. Comments offer support, but yeah, she's honest about the fact that she's not really sure she's willing to go through with it all with the divorce. But as Captain Jack Falcon mentions here, you still love the idea of old him, and he destroyed that. The old him doesn't exist anymore. And it's normal that you miss that. He was a large part of your life. Take the time to mourn. It's like losing a limb. It'll hurt like hell for quite a while, and you need to adjust to the new situation. But you'll recover. You'll learn to manage. And a bit later, there's a good chance of finding a new limb too. Hopefully one that's at least 5 inches and can be molded to last forever. Some other helpful advice. Does he have a best friend? A brother? A father? It doesn't matter. Marry all of them and send him pictures of the wedding. onto a tale that came out 3 hours ago on Am I the A-Hole? A lesson as to why, honestly, whether you're a guy or a girl, make sure you have your own side of protection sorted. Am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend I'm on birth control when I'm not? I'm an 18-year-old female, and my boyfriend had been together for 3 months. Before him, I had an abortion and I really didn't want to do that, but I was pressured to do so and I regret it every day. My boyfriend asked me if I was on birth control when we met, and I told him yes. He has told me he doesn't want any kids for the next 10 years, and I said, okay, but I can't help it. I track my ovulation every month, and when I get a positive, I always have it on with him. Last month, I wasn't successful, but this month, I covered my window really well. I confirmed that my egg was releasing with my BBT thermometer, and we were intimate. He always finishes in me, so now I am waiting 2 weeks to do a pregnancy test to see if we can be expecting. I know he doesn't want kids, but I really want a baby. So, like, honestly, this has to be a troll or something. But even on the case it isn't, I still think it's a story to bring up in that case of, just because one of you even says that they're on birth control or they're using condoms and all that kind of stuff, don't put the fate of your future in someone else like that. Like, all the comments say Yata, of course. And like, look, yes, the fact is, some of us, even at the age of 16, we have that yearning or calling or feeling that we want to have a kid. We want to be a parent. We find that to be our drive in life, to be a mentor, a parent for a fellow human being. We want to see life grow into this world. I can totally understand that sort of passion. And that's why it's exceptionally risky to have that passion when you're so young. As much as this might be some rage bait or trolling, the fact is there are people out there who are genuinely like this, even at a young age, and it can cause such things like this where they trap a partner because they're so blinded by what they believe is the best thing for the both of them that they don't think to consider that, okay, there's actually more to raising a child than just that fulfillment of raising someone into this world. Like, they forget about the constant farting and pooping and vomiting and all the other excretions of fluids that happens from children. And we're not even talking about the financial aspect of things. But yeah, overall, male birth control can't come any sooner. Seriously, hurry up, scientists. I'd buy that stuff up in a second. On the topic of bad calls, so it turns out I am a terrible judge of character since I agreed to marry a man who is a total creep. Last week we were notified that we will not be allowed to renew our lease at the end of November and we need to move out ASAP. The reason being that one of the other families in our building complained about my ex creeping around their daughter, telling her how mature she is and how nice her curves are, and buying her gifts, including a cell phone. Just a note in this story, she was still with her partner at the time, who was her fiancé, who is 35. The daughter in this story, 25? 20? 15? She's 11. The cops are involved and his messages to her are being investigated. When I confronted him, he admitted to having an innocent crush. Mate, the fact you have to say crush is that the book's shut. Done.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Obviously the wedding is off. I need to figure out how I was so blind to completely misjudged his character. I dated him for almost 3 years, lived with him for over 10 months, and agreed to marry him. I am ashamed at how blind and monumentally stupid I am. This is me saying I sure know how to pick them. And to that I completely disagree. I don't think you're an idiot at all or have a terrible judge of character. These kind of people are masters of disguise. There's a reason why we need, like, investigators and stuff onto these kind of people, because they're good at being sly about it. As Wicked Frickin' says here, don't put this on you, you ended it, meaning you handled this perfectly. You aren't blind, you're human. We're all susceptible to making bad calls about people. I'm sure myself and you watching this video are equally made many mistakes with people they've met or befriended. Anyway, I'm so glad for you that this happened now and not later after you're already married. Go buy yourself a drink and a lottery ticket. You dodged a yucky freight train. Yeah, wow, dude didn't even defend himself. Just straight up admits to a crush on an 11-year-old. Holy moly. Oh, well, she said she was 12. And Totes looked 13 and a half. And maturity beyond her years. At least 15 by those standards. And 15 is basically 22. But anyway, enough of that creep and on to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching in today's stories. Quite a few ridiculous beings and unfortunate tales, but it seems regardless, their lives are going to be moving on to the better. So until we get an update on themselves, you be good, drink some water, love your face, be a healthy human being, and I will see you until then. Well, I won't, technically. because, yeah, you get the point. I'm ending the video, okay? Bye.